Deep within the shadowed heart of the whispering woods, where the moonbeams struggle to pierce the thick canopy of ancient trees, stands a cottage. But this is no ordinary cottage. It leans and twists, as if it grew from the gnarled roots of the forest itself, with a roof thatched from gingerbread and windows framed in spun sugar. A sweet, intoxicating aroma of caramel, chocolate, and peppermint perpetually wafts from its crooked chimney, a scent that beckons travelers and mesmerizes lost souls. This is the home of the old witch, a place spoken of only in hushed tones and spooky campfire stories. Inside this peculiar house, amidst bubbling potions and dusty spellbooks, sits her most prized possession, a shiny, black cauldron. It's not a cauldron for brewing wicked spells or sinister elixirs, though. This is the magical candy pot. It gleams under the flickering candlelight, its surface as dark and smooth as obsidian. And the most wonderful thing about it, it never, ever runs out of candy. With a simple stir and a whispered word, it can conjure up any confection imaginable, from shimmering rock, candy crystals, to soft, gooey fudge. But this pot holds a secret, an enchantment woven into every sweet morsel it produces. The candy is, without a doubt, the most delicious thing anyone could ever taste. A single bite can transport you to a world of pure delight. But therein lies the witch's clever trick. The magic of the pot is tied to a mischievous spell. Those who are tempted by greed, who take handful after handful, find themselves enchanted in the most peculiar ways. One boy who ate too many gummy worms started wiggling uncontrollably. A girl who couldn't resist the sour candies found that she could only speak in rhymes. It was never harmful, just a funny, gentle lesson from the witch about the perils of wanting too much. Now, as you might guess, tales of an endless candy pot traveled far and wide, carried on the autumn wind. On one particular Halloween night, when the veil between worlds is at its thinnest, a group of curious children, Leo, Maya, and little Sam decided they had to see it for themselves. Armed with flashlights and a shared sense of daring adventure, they tiptoed away from the cheerful lights of their neighborhood and ventured into the dark, imposing forest. They were determined to find the legendary witch escotted and get a taste of that magical candy. As they pushed deeper into the woods, the air grew thick with a scent so sweet it made their mouths water. It was a trail of pure temptation, the rich, warm smell of melted chocolate, the buttery scent of caramel, and the sugary perfume of lollipops. It was as if the forest itself was guiding them, pulling them along a path paved with fragrance. They followed the aroma, their initial fear replaced by an eager anticipation. The smell grew stronger and stronger until, through a clearing, they saw it. The crooked little house, its windows glowing like jack-o'-lanterns, exactly as the stories described. With hearts pounding in their chests, the children crept to a window and peered inside. The sight that greeted them was beyond their wildest dreams. The cottage was a wonderland of sweets, but it was the cauldron in the center of the room that truly captivated them. Candy wasn't just an asterisk. The pot. It was alive. Lollipops with rainbow swirls hovered in the air like hummingbirds. Tiny chocolates with silver foil wings fluttered about, and little pieces of candy corn with tiny legs were doing a jig on the floor. It was a chaotic, joyful, and utterly magical symphony of sugar. They were so mesmerized by the spectacle that they didn't hear the soft creak of the floorboards behind them. Suddenly, a shadow fell over them. "Well, well, what have we here?" A voice cackled, not with menace, but with a spark of amusement. The children spun around to see the witch herself. She wasn't scary, like in the stories. She had a kind, crinkly smile and eyes that twinkled with mischief. She leaned on a broomstick made of a giant licorice stick and gestured toward the magical chaos. "Looking for a treat, are we?" she asked, her voice raspy but warm. "The pot offers its treasures freely, but only to those who can answer its riddle." She grinned, revealing teeth that looked suspiciously like candy corn. The dancing sweets paused, as if waiting for the challenge. The witch cleared her throat and recited the riddle in a sing-song voice. "I have no voice, but I can tell you stories. Primera, I'll be nobody, but I can be broken by a single word. The more you take from me, the more you leave behind. What am I?" The children looked at each other, puzzled. They thought about candy, about magic, about the witch's tricks. Leo, the oldest, considered the words carefully. The more you take, the more you leave behind. ... Double quotes, he muttered. Maya, always the thoughtful one, thought about how they had worked together to get here. Broken by a single word, she whispered. And then, little Sam, who had promised his mom he would be honest about his adventure, had an idea. A promise. Sauded, you leave behind your trust when you take back a promise. The witch's eyes widened, and then she let out a hearty laugh that echoed through the candy cottage. Clever children. Very clever indeed, she exclaimed. The dancing candy corn cheered, and the floating lollipops spun in delight. The children had solved the riddle, not just with their minds, but with their hearts. They had understood that the riddle wasn't just about a word, but about important values like honesty, trust, and teamwork. The witch saw that they weren't greedy, just curious and brave. She knew they deserved a real reward, not a tricky one. With a wave of her hand, the enchanted candy settled down. The witch then reached into the pot, but this time she pulled out, not living confections, but beautifully wrapped chocolates in colorful candy canes that shimmered with a gentle, honest light. She handed them to the children, her smile genuine and warm. The magic pod likes to play tricks on those who take too much without thinking, she explained kindly. It's a reminder that a little sweetness is a wonderful thing, but too much of a good thing can spoil the fun. The candy she gave them was just regular, delicious candy, no spells attached. It was a gift earned through their cleverness and good character. As the children walked home, their pockets filled with treats, and their hearts full of wonder, they understood the true magic of the witch's candy pot. It wasn't about an endless supply of sweets. The real magic was in the lesson they had learned. That balance is important. That sharing is better than hoarding, and that kindness and honesty are the sweetest treats of all. They had faced the spooky forest and a legendary witch, and had come away not with a funny curse, but with wisdom. And that, they all agreed, was the best Halloween treat they could have ever asked for. Thank you so much for joining us on this sweet adventure today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more magical tales. We'd love to have you back. See you next time.